Hey everybody, it's Rory from A&S Gear, and we're looking at the Tippmann Reloader. So this is the device that fills your either 68 caliber or 50 caliber magazines. So I have done a video already of the 68 caliber, how it feeds the magazine or how it fills the magazine. But you can also convert this over to the 50 cal. And so I'm going to convert this one over into a 50 cal. I've got some 50 cal paint right here. We will fill these magazines with 50 cal paintballs and basically go through the whole thing. But I want to show you how to take it apart and switch it over. It's not very complicated. I would recommend having an electric screwdriver because there are 9 screws you got to pull out, and you can get tired doing them by hand. So let's get them out of here. I've already unscrewed most of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 right there. So we're going to take those out. So after you've loosened those 9 up, make sure there's no paintballs in it, and make sure that the lid is not latched, because you do need to have this half come off. So I've removed the screws, or I've unscrewed them. Now there are a couple that you might have to just give it a little more goose to get it off of there. Whatever one still seems like it's kind of wanting to stick on there, give it a little zip-a-doo. There we go. And then separate this out. Now all the screws that are in all the pockets are the same length, so if you do dump them out and move them over, you don't have to worry about putting them back in the right spot, which is nice. So let's remove the tray. You can see the tray kind of lifted up. There are 2 little lips, one here and one right here, that the tray will fit underneath on each side. So this side has those 2 little nubs also. So you want to make sure that you get them underneath both sides. So we'll move our tray just out of the way. Now the actual feeding mechanism itself, you can just pop it out. And then the ball detent system, you can just plop that out too. A couple things about the half that we're working on. There are 2 holes here as well. If we look at the side of our loading system, there are 2 tabs, and there's 2 tabs on the other side. Those fit into 2 holes over here. These fit into 2 holes over here. I had to sneeze. So when you put it in, you kind of just, we're usually going to work with the left side here. I like this side. I just set the 2 tabs into the 2 holes, and then I tilt it down into position right here. And that usually lines up with no issues. So let's look at what we've got. We've got our tray, our ramp, and our detent that we are going to work with. In the tray area, we're just going to switch out the impeller right here. We're going to switch out the ramp completely and the detent completely. So let's get those out. Let's move our 2 pieces. So our 68 cal ramp and our 68 cal detent into the bag so we don't get them lost. Let's remove the screw from this feeder and just lift it up and move it out of the way. If you've ever done a rip drive install on a Halo 2 or any of those style loaders, it's got the same kind of post in it. The post has flat edges on each side. And if you look at the bottom of the new feed system we're putting in, it has flat sides on it as well. Very similar to also the paddles in a A5. So if you're familiar with that, you know that the paddles sit in a certain way inside there. So let's line up our flat sides and then push it down. If you don't line up the sides, you can't push it down. It doesn't fit. So make sure that goes on there. Take our screw and put it back in. All right. Done and done. So that takes care of this right here. Let's take our 50 cal ramp and let's drop that in. Front side, or the large side, goes at the front opening right there. On the back side here, you can see you've got a little bit of a tab assembly. This tab goes on the outside of the loading assembly, like that. If you put it on the inside, it's going to be loose and sloppy and it will not load properly, and it doesn't actually fit together correctly. So on the outside, it fits nice and snugly on the outside and lines up like it should. Now for our detent. So So this detent is smaller on the inside, 50 cal size, only letting one ball at a time drop through. So you get less balls falling out when you remove the magazine and pull it out of there. So every once in a while we do get one or a ball that drops down when you pull the magazine out because it just happens to be at that in-between spot. Not a big deal, but you just don't want them all pouring out the bottom, which could happen if you didn't have this in there. So let's take our detent and put it in there. The detent has a front, I don't know what you want to call it, tab, I guess, on there. That does go towards the front. It does not go around backwards like this. It doesn't actually fit that way. It only fits correctly like that. Take our tray, put our two tabs, line them up, and then slot it down like that. Now this part, we're just going to load or put the other half back on. And we're going to try to do it. We're going to try to just kind of eyeball it from the side right here and make sure everything looks right. Sometimes it takes a minute to line it up properly and get everything to go together. We take our tray and we're going to put our tray in. The hole in the tray is not in the middle. It is offset slightly. So you have to look to make sure that the hole in the tray is lining up with the loading device. If you have it the wrong way, obviously your hole's up here and the tray's back here. So we want to flip it around and put it underneath the 2 feet that you see down there. Push it all the way down. That will help keep this from wanting to flip up. But once we put this side on, we want to make sure that the 2 feet on this side, like these ones here, are over the top of this lip as well. So I'm trying to hold the door open, and at the same time, I'm lining this up so that it looks like it's together or coming together, and then I'm going to push. And it looks like we got it. So the first thing I'm going to do is look inside here and make sure that my tray went under my tabs. It did. It didn't lift up. I can then close my lid, keeps everything from going anywhere, and then use my screwdriver to put it together. If you're using an electric screwdriver to put it back together, I recommend that you have the slip set very low so that you don't over tighten the screws and strip them out. So we don't want to do that. Let's see, did I already get you? And you. And you. And you. All right. Let's make sure that it turns properly. Make sure this one turns. Let's get to it. So I'm gonna just load these up real quick and get it done. Put some 50 cal in there. And we're gonna do it just like we did in the 68 cal version. We're gonna put the magazine up inside. We're gonna rotate this one that moves the follower down. It winds the follower up. Go till we feel the resistance right there. Don't over crank it. And then we're gonna start loading paint in. Until we feel it stop. You hear that clicking? That's where we wanna stop there. And then we lift and release the winding system and pull the mag out. Now hopefully only like one ball falls out. Or no balls fall out, even better. So then, if you have it on a coupler like this, you can't do the coupler at the same time. It won't fit. It doesn't want to go in there. But if we just release that real quick, put that one up in there, wind our follower, feed our paintballs, release our follower, drop that out, look at that. Now this says that it'll fit, what is this, 25 rounds. Every time I've done this, I've gotten more than 25 in there. So let's just see what we got from this one. I think it was 28. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28 in that one. Maybe they're just being optimistic, or they're underplaying their capacity. I don't know. Let's see what this one, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. 28 for both, which is great. Getting a couple extra shots in there. It's easy to switch. It's easy to load either version. Shouldn't worry about it. Just takes a couple minutes to do some unscrewing and some screwing back in, switching some parts around. The reloader definitely helps when you're filling magazines for either 68 or 50 cal. You can see it's easy to do. Get yours at ansgear.com.